KSDB put on a house show last week featuring bands from all over the state of Kansas.
And as the weather gets warmer, the Konza Prairie Biological Station cracks down on those who would stray from the trail, so to speak.
Also, one Kansas State student is potentially looking towards his future in the NBA.
We've seen lots of warm weather this week, but will it be nice enough to spend the weekend outdoors? I'll have that information and more later on in the show.
It's a high time for Barry Brown, but a low time for the Batcats. I have a look at sports later on in the show.
This is KKSU-LD, covering Manhattan, Riley County, and the Flint Hills, broadcasting in high definition from Kansas State University. You're watching Channel 8 News.
Hello and welcome to Channel 8 News. I'm Emily Starkey.
And I'm Adam Cook. A court case brought forward by students and families sent Kansas lawmakers into a special session to draft a new education spending bill. The new bill will put $534 million into the schools and will provide money to fund Student Act and Work Keys testing. Manhattan Representative Sidney Carlin says that the base number that the legislators ended up with was less than even the lowest number they had initially talked about. That is why she says she was one of 2 local representatives to vote no on the bill.
That we needed to put $800 million in the formula. Then Dale Dennis, who works with us with the legislature and is the Deputy Commissioner for Education, had kind of said, you know, maybe $600 million might do it. The governor's recommendation was $600 million. And then we had the study that was commissioned by the legislature, which said we needed $1.2 billion to $2.1 billion to reach our goals. And this doesn't satisfy our goals. And it is even below the lowest figure that we were working on.
Total votes for the bill were 21 to 19 in the Senate and 63 to 56 in the House. A look at the local representatives and how they voted. Yes votes were from the area Tom Hawk of Manhattan, Representative Tom Phillips of Manhattan, and Susie Swanson of Clay Center. No votes were from Sidney Carlin of Manhattan and Ron Highland of Wamego. An $80 million error was also discovered in the bill, and legislators will reconvene later this month to discuss that error. The error is a correction, but will cost USD 383 $40,000.
This year's Huck Boyd Lecture was a presentation by Penny Abernathy titled Saving Community Journalism from the Rising Threat of News Deserts. The presentation talked about the looming dangers of news deserts to community journalism both nationally and locally. Channel 8 reporter Chase Swinson has the story.
Yesterday morning, students, teachers, and journalists packed into the K-State Alumni Center ballroom to listen to Penny Abernathy present her lecture on the dangers of news deserts. In addition to this, she spoke on potential solutions to the problem.
Across the nation, many small-town newspapers have been going out of business. Most notably, Baldwin City had their paper, The Signal, closed down. This threat of desert journalism looms across the nation for many small-town paper companies. What exactly do these paper companies have planned to prevent this issue in the future?
After the lecture, there was a panel that spoke on Baldwin City and how it is a news desert. Baldwin City became one of the latest victims of the news desert phenomenon when it lost its newspaper, The Signal. Scott Stanford, the publisher of the Lawrence Journal-World, was one of the individuals who had to make the tough decision to cut the paper.
It's very hard economically to secure enough advertising to justify even a weekly print newspaper.
In an effort to fill the void in the community, Jay Watts brought Baldwin City Radio, an online radio streaming service, to the city. He stated that part of the reasoning for starting the station was research-based, to find out if this could be a viable solution for others' news deserts.
Baldwin City Radio is the platform that we're studying to determine if the folks in a small town of less than 10,000 people will accept an app and a website to receive news, music, and information, rather than a traditional newspaper, which they've lost, a television station, which they've never had, and a radio station, which they've also lost.
The issue of news deserts is definitely a daunting task. However, with the help of journalists across the nation, there is still a bright future for community journalism. In Manhattan, Kansas, I'm Chase Swinson, Channel 8 News.
People in Kansas and across the country depend on strong community journalism to keep them informed and connected to one another. Even with social media, many people who live in rural communities across Kansas still rely on hometown newspapers. Here in studio, we have our own Channel 8 reporter, Chase Swinson, sitting down with Penny Abernathy to hear more about saving community journalism.
Thanks, Emily and Adam. Joining us here in the studio today is Penny Abernathy. She came here to K-State to talk a little bit about community journalism. So Penny, to start off, for the average Joe out there watching, tell us why community journalism is important for our community.
Well, by many estimates, local newspapers contribute as much as 85% of the news that feeds democracy. Now, what does that mean? It means that local newspapers cover stories that help us decide on important public policy issues that affect not only our generation, but generations to come. It means that local newspapers do stories that tell us about issues such as food deserts, such as health crises that could affect the health of our communities for generations to come. And finally, it also means that local newspapers especially do stories that help us connect socially, politically, and economically with our communities.
And I know a big thing, part of it that they talked about and discussed kind of at the panel and at the event is that these local newspapers are a hub for journalism. And I know there's a big concern in the community journalism about the future that it holds. You want to discuss a little bit about that, some of your concerns?
Well, for the last 10 years, I've been really focused on what the effect of the financial crisis has had on newspapers, because newspapers are both a democratic institution as well as a business. And we used to have a saying when I worked at the New York Times, for instance, that no strong newspaper is ever strong for long if it is not profitable. So we've had a lot of financial pressures on newspapers, and as a result, we've lost a lot of newspapers in small and mid-sized communities. By our own reports, we've lost as much as 70 daily newspapers over the last decade and as many as 1,500 weekly newspapers. So you're looking at towns without newspapers, and because of the financial constraints, because we've cut back on reporting and reporters and editors, you're also looking at newspapers that are working with significantly diminished resources, so they aren't able to cover the stories they were in the past.
And I know part of your discussion, well, unfortunately we're running out of time, so we can't go into some of the solutions, but where could people go if they wanted to see maybe some of your side? Do you have like a website or something they could visit?
I have two websites, savingcommunityjournalism.com and newspaperownership.com.
Perfect. Thank you, Penny, so much for joining us today.
Yeah.
We're going to send it back to the desk.
Those who are fans of singing competitions got a special treat this past Friday when the K-State Student Union Program Council hosted a competition of its own. Channel 8 reporter Margot Coltrane has the story.
Even though she's an animal science major, sophomore Mackenzie Duncan finds time to take part in another passion of hers, singing. Encouraged by her family, sorority sisters, and a cappella group, Duncan decided to compete in this year's K-State's voice competition.
Some of my other friends have done the voice, so they were like, you should totally do it, it's really fun, I feel like you might win it. And I was like, I don't know about that, because there's a lot of talent in K-State, so.
K-State's Voice, hosted by the Union Program Council, has stayed true to the popular TV show model, from blind auditions with spinning chairs to team selections.
I think this is going to be a great event. I'm excited for all the contestants. They should be good. I loved them all at the live audition, so I'm really excited.
The competition has lasted over several weeks, where it went from 25 contestants down to 15, down to tonight, where the judges will look at the top 8, sit at these tables, and decide who is the final winner of the grand prize. After each contestant performed and was judged at Friday's live show, audience members were encouraged to vote for their favorite singer, while the judges deliberated among themselves on who they thought should be the winner. Duncan won the People's Choice Award, which also sealed her fate as the overall winner of the competition and as the recipient of a grand prize of $250.
I kind of just blanked out a little bit. I was like, I won? I was very confused because I knew that like the other 2 people that were up there with me were really amazing, and I honestly did not expect it, so.
In Manhattan, I'm Margot Coltrane, Channel 8 News.
Duncan plans on saving her prize money from the competition as well as using some of it to pay back her mom for all the things she's helped her with over the course of her college career.
KSDB Radio held a concert last week in a not-so-typical setting. Channel 8's Brett Huntington went down to the venue to see just how KSDB is supporting the local music scene.
As KSDB 91.9 radio supports local bands, they held a concert last week where 4 bands performed. But the concert wasn't at just any ordinary venue.
This might just look like an ordinary home during the day, but during the night of the KSDB House Show, it served as a packed concert venue to help local bands literally rock the house.
Bridget Lynch was a co-coordinator for the House Show, an event she sees as important so people get to experience the local music scene.
there's so much out there that you have no idea exists. Especially like, I love going to Church of Soul shows and being able to see who just stops by. Because not only the people who are performing, but the people who are in the audience are usually the people who are also doing music in the area, and getting to know them and getting to know their sound, getting to know the punk side of Manhattan and what's really out there to discover is just amazing.
As the KSDB House Show seeks to promote local music, it would not happen without Clinton Willis, whose job is to book the bands. Clinton says he does this because he's passionate about the local music scene.
I'd say the importance of the night is just coming out and just recognizing hardworking, talented musicians who just love music, who love performing in front of a crowd, and it's great.
KSDB Radio will continue to promote local music, whether it's in the studio or at special events like house shows. From Manhattan, this is Brett Huntington, Channel 8 News.
If you would like to attend the next event put on by KSDB or find out more about the Manhattan music scene, visit www.ksdbfm.org. Nick Jonas is coming to the Kansas State campus tonight. The parking lot in front of Bramlage Coliseum may be empty now, but it won't be tonight as event organizers prepare the stage and Bramlage students from across campus share their excitement leading up to their performance.
And then I saw it was Nick Jonas, and so I texted my friend, and I was like, hey, Nick Jonas is coming. And so she freaked out because that's her favorite Jonas brother. So I was like, fine, we can go. And she's like, okay.
I am not tomorrow, unfortunately.
I guess I wasn't prepared enough to get tickets in advance, so I'm not going.
Mainly because I have exams, papers to write, homework to catch up on, work, money to make. So, yeah.
KC Campus Entertainment Fund co-chairs Basil and Rachel talked a little bit about what the planning and setup process was like for the team leading up to the event tonight.
We have to get stuff over to Bramlage. The load-in starts today, setting up of the stage, getting all the backline set up, which all of that is just like the gear for the concert, like the actual on-stage stuff and like lighting and whatnot.
A lot of what's going to go on tomorrow is just making sure everything goes to plan. Everything we've kind of set up over the past 7 or 8 months that we've worked on. Tomorrow is just making sure we execute it right. So it's more just being there and making sure we don't mess up anything or that nothing goes wrong and that we haven't forgotten about anything. So far, it's been going pretty well.
Nick Jonas will be performing at Bramlage Coliseum tonight at 8:00 p.m.
To many local residents, the Konza Prairie is a picturesque hiking trail to explore, but it could be shut down to the public in the future.
And hearings in the national capital are being held to investigate recent controversy with Facebook and Cambridge Analytica. Find out more when we come back.
I know a spot that I love full well.
'Tis not in forest, nor yet in dell. Ever it holds me with magic spell.
I think of thee, alma mater.
We'll carry thy banner high. Long, long, may thy colors fly.
Loyal to thee, thy children will swell the cry. Hail, 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 alma mater.
Research. It's applying the bigger picture toward the greater good. Defending the world from adversaries, both seen and unseen. Interpreting realities to unlock solutions. It's our land-grant mission to serve our world utilizing sharp minds, from first-year students to world-renowned experts. What makes research so strong at Kansas State University? Vision, progress, you.
With the warmer weather this week, there's more community members are heading outside to enjoy the outdoors. One local attraction was almost shut down due to rule breaking last year. Channel 8 reporter Emma Carter has more on why the Konza was almost shut down.
Many people
people view the Konza Prairie Biological Station as a way to get outside and enjoy the fresh air. And with warmer temperatures moving in, the Konza should be expecting an uptick in visitors. However, with those visitors comes the possibility that many of them will disregard some of the Konza's key rules. This was the case last year and almost led to a closure of the prairie to the public. The Konza has 3 main rules: no pets, no littering, and no leaving the trails. As you can see, the Konza has many signs posted telling visitors exactly what the rules are and where the trails lead. Officer Bradley Millington explains what happens when someone sees a rule being broken and reports it.
If the public is out there and sees something that's against the rules or against the law, they just need to contact us, report it to us, and we will respond out there for the report.
Officer Millington also explained that officers will sometimes be in the area just to keep an eye out on the public and to make sure everything is in order. If people do not follow the rules set in place, it is a real possibility that the Konza will be shut down, stopping all who use the Konza for recreational purposes. Local student Victoria Kimbrough believes that it would be a shame to shut down the Konza and shares why she likes coming.
It's a lot of fun to come out here and just relax, after a busy day or busy work week.
The Konza Prairie is currently open to the public between the hours of 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. 7 days a week. In Manhattan, I'm Emma Carter, Channel 8 News. To report someone breaking these rules, you can call the Kansas State Police Department at 785-532-6412.
Services available at the Recreation Outdoor Rental Department are rising due to warmer weather. There are numerous items available for students to rent and to participate in outdoor activities. Items up for rent include boats, canoes, kayaks, as well as stand-up paddleboards. If you are worried about transporting these items, trailers are also available to haul these boats to nearby lakes such as Tuttle Creek. If students are planning on a camping expedition, they can rent camping equipment from tents to sleeping bags as well.
Yeah, as far as the boats going out, it's typically when the weather warms up and the water warms up, so we typically see our busiest time latter portion of April all the way through September. We're open seasonally. Typically we open in March, a week prior to spring break, so if anybody has any camping needs for tents or sleeping pads, they can rent that equipment from us. Then we'll stay open until the end of October, depending on the weather.
The weather has been fairly warm this week. Will it stay warm in the weekend?
After the controversy surrounding the breach of information at Facebook, some students have strong opinions on what should happen next.
Find out what that will look like and more later in the show.
Bases loaded, 1 out, bottom of the 9th. Cats and Sooners tied at 5, and the Cats trying to win a Big 12 title for the first time ever. Outside, it gets away to the plate. Kansas State has its title. Ships it in the middle, a header into the goal, and a score for K-State.
The best-kept secret in Manhattan is not a secret anymore. I'm Wyatt Thompson, the voice of the Wildcats, and welcome to JP's Sports Grill. With daily chef-inspired specials, a full bar, and a diverse menu that has something for everyone, this place is guaranteed to impress. JP Sports Grill, your new favorite spot.
I was so pleased with what I saw on the discussion boards last night. Who started the module?
K-State Global Campus offers flexible online learning, the same name brand education, quality programs, and recognized award-winning professors with the flexibility to fit your life.
We're going to be working on Project 3 this week. It's a group project.
For your comfort and safety, vital baggage must be stored in the overhead.
K-State Global Campus, always on, always there.
In light of controversy surrounding Facebook collecting users' personal data, which was used by political consulting firm Cambridge Analytica, Mark Zuckerberg was called to testify before Congress on Tuesday for 2 hearings in which senators questioned the CEO on Facebook's handling and subsequent misuse of millions of people's private information. Current estimates of users affected by data harvesting is upwards of 90 million profiles, which has led to many Congress to question Facebook's policies. K-State students share their thoughts on the controversy.
It has been a concern for a while.
Facebook has just been asking like more and more information, and it kind of been creeping me out a little bit.
I mean, he said that he is to blame and Facebook is to blame for not doing a good job of that. So I would agree in that case that the people working at Facebook probably should have done a better job.
The weather has finally been getting warmer. I'm super excited to get outside soon. Are you ready for warmer weather?
Yeah, I'm excited to get my kayaks out. Let's give it to our Channel 8 reporter, Margot Coltrane, to see if this weekend will hold some kayaking weather.
Thanks, Emily and Adam. All right, so we're going to start off looking over at the West Coast. It looks like Seattle is going to be living up to its stereotype, pretty rainy and low 51. And then as we move down south to Los Angeles, it's going to be sunny and 70. And then down in Texas, we're looking at probably going to be about the warmest spot in the country today with 84 degrees. And then as we move on over to Chicago, we're looking at mid-60s. And then New York is even irregularly warm for today. And then Atlanta is also going to be pretty hot with 76. Then as we look across the state of Kansas, up in the northeast corner, it's going to be about 83 degrees. And then we get even hotter as we move down to Gray County. It's going to be about 90 degrees. And then as we move to today's area in Riley County, it's going to be about 86 degrees. Wichita's about the same. And then in the Kansas City area, we're looking at about mid-70s, which is a little cooler than the rest of the state, but still pretty warm. Then as we look at today's agenda, today it's going to be about 85 degrees at the hottest, and then by sunrise tomorrow morning it's still going to get pretty cold but warm with 64 degrees. And then as we look at the 5-day forecast, we're going to see today and tomorrow are going to be still warm, rain over the weekend, and then on Tuesday we're going to warm back up again. Back to you guys.
One K-State athlete is hoping to start their career in the NBA earlier than expected. Find out more after the break.
Bases loaded, one out. Bottom of the ninth. Cats and Sooners tied at 5, and the Cats trying to win a Big 12 title for the first time ever. Outside, it gets away to the plate. Kansas State has its title. Ships it in the middle. A header into the goal and a score for K-State.
The best-kept secret in Manhattan is not a secret anymore. I'm Wyatt Thompson, the voice of the Wildcats, and welcome to JP Sports Grill. With daily chef-inspired specials, a full bar, and a diverse menu that has something for everyone, this place is guaranteed to impress. JP Sports Grill, your new favorite spot.
I was so pleased with what I saw on the discussion boards last night. Who started the module?
K-State Global Campus offers flexible online learning, the same name brand education, quality programs, and recognized award-winning professors with the flexibility to fit your
We're going
life.
to be working on Project 3 this week. It's a group project.
For your comfort and safety, light baggage must be stored in the overhead.
K-State Global Campus, always on, always there.
Welcome back to Channel 8. Let's hand it over to DJ Render to see the weekly sports update.
Thanks, Emily. After an exciting NCAA tournament, Kansas State basketball junior guard Barry Brown tossed his name into the cap to be selected in this year's NBA draft. Channel 8's Dylan Lears takes a closer look.
After a season that saw Kansas State basketball reach the Elite Eight for the first time since 2010, last week left many K-State fans bittersweet as junior guard Barry Brown announced that he would enter the 2018 NBA draft, although without hiring an agent.
No, I'm just really trying to hear what they got to say. I mean, if it's some great stuff, then you never know what's going to happen. But I'm just trying to see what they're going to say to me. I thought I had a better year, and so I wanted to test the waters to see what they thought about me. Yeah.
Coach Weber would love to have Barry Brown back for his senior year, but he also knows playing in the NBA is an opportunity you can't turn down.
I've talked to his dad quite a bit, and his dad's a little more old school, and I don't know about this stuff, but we talked the other day, and he said, Coach, he's coming back, but he wants to, see what's going on and see what's out there. But if he plays that well, we've done our jobs as coaches to get him ready, and that would be a positive.
Current NBA draft boards, including this one from NBADraft.net, have Brown listed just outside the second round at 63. Were he to come back to play next year, his draft projection following his senior year would move all the way up to going 34th in the second round of next year's draft. Brown's addition to next year's lineup would add to already high expectations from fans and national media on K-State's chances in the Big 12 in next year's NCAA tournament. In Manhattan, Dylan Lears, Channel 8 News.
Since Brown didn't hire an agent, he has until 10 days after the NBA Combine to withdraw and return to K-State. Controversy has struck the University of Kansas basketball team. According to reports with WIBW-TV, the families of 2 players received illegal payments from Adidas as long as that player would commit to Adidas sponsor school, which is a violation of NCAA rules. As of now, the names of the players and their families who were involved has not been revealed. It's been a rough stretch for the K-State baseball team, who are currently battling a 6-game losing streak. The Batcats dropped 3 games to Oklahoma State over the weekend before losing 9-11 against Nebraska Tuesday night. Shortstop Cameron Thompson led the Cats with 6 hits, 4 RBIs against the Cowboys, and then picked up 3 more hits and 4 RBIs against the Cornhuskers. Tuesday's game stayed close between the Cats and Cornhuskers, with K-State holding the lead 8-9, heading into the 8th inning. It wasn't long, though, before the Huskers took the lead when Nebraska's Jesse Wilkening drove in 3 hits with a home run. Currently, the Wildcats are second to last in the Big 12 and have a 3-game series against Texas Tech starting April 13th, and the Batcats return home April 27th against Baylor. That's the sports cap that we have for this week. Now back to Emily and Adam at the desk.
22 different women vied for the title of Miss K-State last Tuesday night. Competitors brought their A game, but only one would be crowned at the night's end. We'll be right back.
Schultz one, high and deep to left, goodbye.
Shot to right, K-State's going to try and score 2. Another play at the plate, but this time Brevin slides past the tag. And Brad Hill is the all-time winningest coach in K-State history.
The best-kept secret in Manhattan is not a secret anymore. I'm Wyatt Thompson, the voice of the Wildcats, and welcome to JP's Sports Grill. With daily chef-inspired specials, a full bar, and a diverse menu that has something for everyone, this place is guaranteed to impress. JP Sports Grill, your new favorite spot.
We are a family that does not tolerate discrimination of any kind.
A family that believes diversity, inclusion, and sportsmanship are expectations.
A family that is supportive and seeks to promote a positive environment.
A family that treats all people with respect and dignity.
No matter their color, creed, gender, ethnicity, or sexual orientation.
We are an empowered family.
Who empowers family.
Welcome to K-State. This is who we are.
The Union Program Council and Delta Upsilon Fraternity hosted the 6th annual Miss K-State competition at McCain Auditorium. Contestants participated in 4 rounds to showcase their talents and were given points by judges. Contestants sang, lifted, danced, and soared their way to victory, but only one came out a winner. Charles E. Fowler represented the UPC organization, stole the hearts of the crowd and the judges with her confidence and poise.
That's all the time we have for you this week. Thank you for tuning in.
This is Channel 8 News.